Hey, Kara, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yeah,
Sweet. We're doing it.
sweet. All my networking sessions, I could either hear someone or they could hear me, but it was never both. So it was either
Oh
one
yeah.
person was typing and one person was listening.
Hi.
Hey, Nicole.
Hello. Oh, I almost forgot.
Nice.
Like my creepy dog right there.
Your dog is very creepy.
Just
Okay, now my hair's done.
perfectly creepy.
Okay.
He's like, "Oh, you noticed me. Thank you.
It's
Thank you
like
for
I'm
noticing
here
me."
in case you forgot. Cool. I think maybe we'll give another minute or so in case people join.
Yeah. Well, no, he's migrated.
Hi,
It's just
buddy.
part of the thing.
Yeah.
Curtis, do you want me to share?
If you don't mind, and then I can save showing all my other tabs and junk I have on my screen.
Cool. No problem.
No one has a bazillion tabs open. That never
Yeah.
happens to
No,
people ever.
especially not midweek.
For those of you listening, I specifically told Curtis and Nicole that they did not have to create a PowerPoint. So I just wanted to clarify that the bar was here and they raised it to like way up here. So
I mainly wanted to show off our amazing illustration and design and graphic design team work because that's bomb. Like that's in-house.
that's pretty amazing. I like it. Very cool. Sweet. Well, I think we should get started because I don't have that much time, and I want to make sure there's plenty of time for questions. Hi, Ross. Good to see you too. Cool. So my name is Kara Zucker. I have the pleasure of moderating this session with Curtis and Nicole. I felt I needed to dress up as a unicorn because I strongly feel that Bananatag is an awesome company and has the opportunity to be a tech unicorn. So I felt like there was some symbolism there, but also just because this is going to be the best session compared to everyone else's. So get ready. A little background. I'm a product manager right now at a small tech company called Kinzu. We focus on kid tech, which is a messenger for kids. So it's pretty fun. It's very similar to like a WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, but has all the privacy controls and lots of fun games, but specifically for a younger audience. And I'm more new to product, but have had the chance to talk with Nicole, who's had lots of experience in product, and Curtis, who has a similar background as me, has kind of jumped into a few different roles and transition into product. So I'm really excited for both of you to talk a little bit more about your experiences and learn more about Bananatag in the process. So a little background about Curtis. He's born and raised in Kelowna, so he's actually not calling from Vancouver, which is exciting. Oh, look, you got some photos there. Oh, man. So stylish. I love it. He's been in tech for about 7 years and went from a project manager into a scrum master, and then a product manager, and then a product owner, and as well as a customer success. So he's kind of touched all different types of tech, as well as in the company. He's been at Bananatag for 2.5 years and loves riding his bike. Especially in flip-flops, which I find fascinating, and especially going to any brewery, which I feel like, Curtis, you and I would have a good time in flip-flops on the bike to the brewery.
Casual riding, right?
Yeah. Casual. Mm-hmm. And Nicole is a seasoned digital product professional who's super passionate about team communication, user experience especially, as well as really understanding the influences in surrounding systems. She really brings 10 years of experience as well, both in-house and digital product agencies, where she's helped with delivery teams and operational processes. So she's a badass. I have had the pleasure of being on a panel with Nicole as well. I highly recommend to learn a little bit more about these two and also around what they do at Bananatag by asking lots of questions in the chat. So if something comes up, just ask it, and then we'll make sure to address it once they're done. So without further ado, why don't you guys jump on in? Why don't you give a brief intro first?
Let's hear it. Before we intro Kara, I have to just share the unicorn hat at Bananatag. There's like a long story behind where this came from, but we call our bugs and defects fat unicorns.
Wow.
And I'm by no means calling you fat, but that's like
No,
all I
it's
can
fine.
think of when I see a unicorn. Anything is there's a bug ticket and there's something we need to fix. And the story predates me in terms of why we call it that, but I guess a customer kind of inspired it. So it's our little funny bug story.
I love it.
We also call that meeting itself the last unicorn. So yeah, I think we're just really, really into unicorns, as you can see with my light.
Yeah, there's a theme.
Cool. Well, this is our product management team, y'all. I guess we should start with what Bananatag is before we even get started. Curtis, I'm going to just throw that to you.
Yep, for sure. So Bananatag started as a sales tool, like pretty similar to MailChimp. It started as a tool to send email communications and track engagement. Did people open it? Did people click on my links? Are people reading the things I'm sending? And then our co-founders kind of saw that there was an opportunity to kind of turn it into an internal comms tool. So we still technically have both, but we're primarily focused on internal comms and sort of same use case. You're sending out emails to your entire staff from your execs or from important people. You want to understand if people are actually reading that, getting the content, and then we offer as well two-way engagement. And as you'll kind of see as we progress through this slide, those early email routes are quickly expanding, and we're keeping up with 2021 and going multi-channel and into all different avenues now.
Cool. Awesome. I kind of described a little bit about who you are and your background, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about your roles and specifically how you contribute with the company. I mean, it's a pretty big product team, at least for me as being the only PM at my startup. So I'd love to hear about like kind of responsibilities that both of you do at Bananatag.
Yeah, for sure. I started at Bananatag 5 months ago, so in August. I currently am responsible for looking after our client integration. So that's kind of the evolution of what Bananatag started to where we are now. We started with integrations with, if you will believe it, Lotus Notes, Outlook Classic, and Office 365, and it's expanded into Gmail as well through a Chrome extension. So part of my job is making sure all of those work and they are compatible with our web application, and that our lovely customers are getting the same value they do from our web app. But in addition to that, I am also responsible for thinking about our platform strategies. So thinking further into the future into how can we have good integrations with any types of tools that may exist for our customers, because we can never really predict what our customers use, how they use it, and what their tech stack is. So what's the easiest way to have them join our product through APIs and platforms. So that's me specifically.
Cool. And for me, this slide here, at one point, it was just me standing alone in the middle there. So at one point, I've been a product owner, product manager over all aspects of Bananatag. Thankfully, I have help now, much needed help. And my focus lives in one of the stickiest parts of our product, and one of the core of that email communication is we have a drag and drop builder. So you're not just sending plain text emails, you are making it look beautiful. You're adding surveys, you're adding videos, you're adding images, all those fun things to get people to actually look at it. So I manage a team that focuses primarily on that. So yeah, that's kind of my focus. And then, of course, interacting with Nicole and the other PMs and all the work in between and the overlap within the product.
Cool. So in terms of both you and Nicole, how is the product team structured?
Yeah,
sure.
We have a slide for that.
Awesome.
Although we also had this slide, which has our CEO in it. What is Bananatag?
You can answer that first too. I think we already kind of covered that, but
I mean, let's jump around. Let's do real demo problems of we didn't really plan this out. We just have a lot of slides. So our product team is very, very large. We have our product managers, as you previously saw. There's the whole bunch of us and the elusive Partho, who may or may not be lurking around tonight. And then there's the four of us as product managers. But our team itself, every single team has 3 to 5 developers. We have a QA, and we have a QA. We have a designer and product manager, and then a scrum master who is shared across all of our teams. And then all of us roll up to getting the support from head of product, Partho, a product design manager, as well as engineering. And I think our product design manager is here today as well. So look for the banana.
Awesome. Cool.
Oh, there's Nick. Hey, Nick.
Did you have something on the other slide that you wanted to talk about? Feel free, that it's like easier for you to. No big deal.
Honestly, we did not plan this out very well.
Okay,
We just
that's
put
fine.
slides together.
One of the things, like, based on your team and how it's structured, especially like kind of how you put on, like, each team has like the head of product, or each team has like the PM, the designer, QA, the developers, and the scrum master. What kind of skills and capabilities do you as the product manager need to have for that type of team?
Sure. We have a bit of a slide for that. I listened to a talk, I guess this was last week or whatever. Manik Gupta from Uber got asked the same question, and I loved his answer, so I'm going to steal it and then I can respond. But his answer was, the question was, what makes a good PM or PO? He said high energy and genuine curiosity for your product, exemplary communication skills, low ego, and excellent collaboration skills. I couldn't agree with any of those more. And I think, as everyone knows, as a PM, you're kind of the central point to a lot of different stakeholders and a lot of different groups, and you have to be able to translate and speak a lot of different languages. So that sort of again, written in those 3 sort of points there, like that ability to communicate, that ability to listen and understand and collaborate. And, we're not building anything. We're not we're helping make decisions and facilitate that, but we're not building anything. And so we're just helping bring the best out of people and facilitate all those things. So for me, that answer that he gave just nailed it. And I think we do our best to do that at Bananatag. And speaking for the PMs we have, I see that in all 4 of us. And the other thing I really like, I know it's not a single person skill, but as a team sort of skill set, we all come from very different backgrounds, which I think has been really, really cool. And we collaborate really well as a result of it. We all have different perspectives that we bring to problems. And when we collaborate, it's like, holy, I didn't even think of that angle. Thank God you saved me, kind of thing. So it's really nice to have that as well.
Yeah. One of the things I think I noticed across our product team, especially, is we present a lot throughout a single week to different various groups in the company, and week over week, I see everyone being very great at telling the story of what we're even trying to do. So not necessarily here's the feature, here's the the good and bad about it, but it's what is the point of it? Why do our customers care? And really telling that from the perspective of the customer. And then being able to back that up using metrics. Curtis is one of the does such a great job at it week over week. Whenever he talks about his work of here's what the customers are doing, here's what the numbers we're seeing, and this is why it matters. So it's something that I strive to do better at every day, just because I see that in our team, and it's really cool to have around me.
Cool. That's awesome. That's great to hear. I think, and especially the communication skills, something I always say is communication, any relationship controls that relationship, whether it's your team, relationship, friends, family, doesn't matter. So it's pretty critical. In terms of the collaborating with your team, you mentioned that you do a lot of presenting. What kind of who do you usually interact with in a week in terms of I know you had mentioned some of those individuals who support that team, but what other key stakeholders do you usually interact with, and how exactly do you collaborate with them?
Yeah, so as a product team, like Nicole said, we present a lot. We try to keep like a really tight pulse on like this is what the teams are working on. We work in 2 week sprints, so we have typically 2 update meetings, kind of a start and finish sprint, just to like project out to the company, this is what's happening. You know, we show and tell during demos and sprint reviews, and then collect feedback on the way. So that is ideally all staff, and then we definitely do targeted meetings. PMM, or product marketing, is our closest tie, I would say, for sure. But we are constantly meeting with customer success and folks in sales, just making sure we're hearing those voices as well.
Mm-hmm. We have a really unique role where I don't actually remember the actual title that Andy has, but he is the interesting intersection between getting, the user voice tickets that come in, and then any of the bugs that come in, and then he talks to the sales folks, he talks to the customer success and the technical support. Like, he is that really cool role in between where he can be kind of the first person to raise his hand and be like, hey guys, like, have you taken a look at this area? Because we seem to be getting a lot of traffic about this. And it really helps, at least for me, get a focus on areas that I can look at, who the right people to talk to first and dig deeper in, especially as like someone new coming into such a big company with such a big, like, with all the processes that we have. It's hard to know like who owns what, who talks to whom, and what's the best way to connect with customers. So yeah, customer needs specialist. It's a great role in our company.
I only know it because it used to be me, so near and dear to my heart.
That's awesome. You kind of covered the question that I had next of like how you really address and learn about customer needs. I assume a lot of that comes from the customer relations specialist, you said is the title?
Customer needs, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the in-between of all of these things, actually. He's this guy, this suit guy.
Yeah.
The suit guy. They wear a suit every day, right? On Zoom calls, no sweatpants.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Andy's kind of like that conduit, like Nicole said. Like he's watching all of these inputs, and we're using user voice, like Nicole said, for customer feedback. We track most of our calls via Gong, and so we have tagging in there for keywords, and just so we can repeat conversations. Pendo for our tracking, Salesforce to link it to customer accounts. So like there's a lot going on, and Andy provides us that sanity, our customer needs specialist, of like, here are the trends, here are the like real red flags, here's like a general idea of what's happening. And so we can dive into those tools ourselves, but it's quite time consuming. So he saves us a lot of legwork and gives us kind of like the trends and the updates, and then we can act on that and dive deeper as we need.
So next question, probably a burning question for every PM, maybe just me, but how do you know what to build and not to build? How do you like, here's all these cool features we should do, and how do you like, that one? How do you get to that point?
Yeah.
I think that's no wrong answer, but you will be quizzed at the end.
I mean, that's kind of the $1 million question always, right? Like, how do we decide what to build? At least for me, I try to track across all the signals that we're hearing from customers, not just from, user voice that's coming in, from sales and people saying like, well, if you only have this one thing, we're definitely going to sign. Like, is that true, or is that, a bluff? But it's always a signal at the end of the day. And whatever we build is almost always that gamble, right? Like, we can do as much due diligence in the beginning to talk to as many people as possible, but really trying to approach it as like, what is the big people problem that we're trying to solve, and then come up with a whole bunch of different solutions with our product team, and work through what that looks like and what the impact at the end of the day will be. And that's something that we as the PM team do quite often. Could be more often, but like, as always, but we do that quite often, where we get together and we talk about, based on the problem that we think we're trying to solve, here's the different solutions as a team we've come up with, and the breakdown of that. What do we think are the actual drivers. So do we think this is going to increase ARR? Is this going to be a table stakes thing? Is it actually reducing churn? Or I guess the flip side is an increasing stickiness? But yeah, like not the best answer, I guess, but that's at least how I've often approached it. What do we decide what to build? How do we decide what to build? And when do we know we shouldn't build it is the good one.
I think, yeah, like we're probably in a similar boat to most PMs in terms of those, like taking an idea and figuring out if this is a good idea or bad. I think a strength that we have, and we're fortunate to be so close to our customers, where we can get to that point of like, yeah, this seems like a really good idea, and hey, our CEO really wants this idea, and we can talk about these ideas, but we have a really strong like validation process and like getting the tech feasibility and design input, and then like we talk to our customers like as early as possible and like, oh, that's how you would actually use this. We need to like switch our approach, or like, oh no, options A and B are off the table, C and D are looking better now. So like I think that's the point where we get to that as soon as we can, because that's where we learn the most.
So I have a few other questions, but I also realized I think we're kind of tight on time. So I wanted to open it up to the chat. I can see there's like 35 questions that people have asked. It's kind of nuts.
Oh, wow.
I'm joking. So, if anyone has any questions, burning questions about Curtis's favorite brewery, burning questions about Nicole's dog sitting behind her, or, product related too, that's totally fine. It's, anyone can ask any question. This is a safe space. I have a unicorn on. It's fine. So if not, I'll just gonna continue asking questions. But there are 10 awesome people in here that could ask. So until someone asks one, I'll keep going. So I'm curious if either of you has any key challenges that your team is facing right now, whether that's like growth, operational, diversity, inclusion, anything that you feel is like a little bit on the struggle bus.
Ooh. All?
So there's still no wrong answer to this one either, so don't worry.
I can kind of give one. This one, I had a one-on-one with my team this week, and one of the feedback that I got is like, as you know, like we've taken on this empowered teams model, which is fantastic, and it gives a lot of people the opportunity to take initiative and lead projects or feature builds or discovery, which is fantastic. But I got some feedback from someone on our team that they're kind of missing that technical leadership that we used to have at like sort of a smaller size and in a different format. And I know we do our best to empower that, and we put some people in positions, but it's just that lack of, and kind of losing maybe a senior person on your team. So I thought that was very interesting, because on one hand, you have that opportunity to take the reins and be that like technical expert for your build or whatever, but there comes a moment where you're, oh, like, am I actually doing the right thing? Like, I might not know better. Like, should I be getting help? So that was one that I found quite interesting, and just like having that technical leadership without having tech leads, if we're going to go the empowered model.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Curtis and I kind of touched on this briefly before we started tonight. And I always think about it in like in the way of like culture versus process. And I think, Gibson, former Netflix, former like Chegg, always talks about it. It's like processes in lieu of culture, right? Like whatever your culture, whatever gaps you have in your culture, you have process to make up for it. So, coming into Bananatag, as I keep saying I'm new, it's been 5 months. I always feel like I'm finding out new things about how we do work. And one of the things that I'm really trying to push our team as a whole, like not just the team I manage, but the greater team, is how can we have better visibility intentionally across the company? So we have a channel where people can ask the PMs anything. We do our office hours, but what I notice is people are asking the same questions over and over again. So it's like, what's a better way for us to address those now that we are fully remote, and we will be remote for a while? Like, is it even possible to address those in a better way? Or is it just a different way of thinking about how we communicate internally? So yeah, that's kind of like one of the things I'm looking at quite a bit, like who owns what, how do we get there, and how do we kind of socialize that to everyone?
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So did you see the question in the chat if you want to answer it?
Yes. So the question is, there's only one customer needs specialist. Is their relationship with PMs a pull or push relationship? It's kind of a both relationship. How we have it structured is the customer needs specialist, he has recurring meetings with us, bi-weekly or weekly, depending on the meeting. One is kind of focused at bugs and issues. The other is kind of like quick wins and customer requests. So he has that venue to kind of present his data and be like, again, like I said, like this is the pulse on what's burning holes in people's pockets, where the problems are. And then I guess just he adapts to our chaos and we pull on him a ton where it's just like, hey, I'm doing discovery on this. Can you help me? Hey, I have this big problem to solve. Can you help me? So he's a readily available resource to us, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think I can describe his role any better than that. Like Andy is a godsend when it comes to trying to help us coordinate or get in touch with the right people without having to be the person who does all that. So yeah. I think I saw a second question. Kara, do you want me to? Cool.
I think we have a minute left if we can fit it in.
Yeah, so best way to say no to features, to CEO, other teams, customers, from Brittany. We are really lucky, at least like I've been really lucky that I have yet to have our CEO be like, build this feature now. He is very hands-off and very good about thinking about what problems we're solving, and in themes. So in initiatives and themes, what is the most important based on our company OKRs that we are thinking about. In terms of other teams that we may have to say no to, again, like Partho has done a really great job in like pushing this as well, but like all the PMs are really a line of, we're not necessarily saying no, but is the feature that's being requested, how can we break that into the actual problem rather than the need that they're saying or the want that they're saying, and then fit that within the theme or the initiative that we have going on for the quarter or the next quarter. We do roadmap reviews every month with the whole company where we show off like what are we looking at for this quarter? Are we in discovery? As you can see, are we trying to build something? And could this possibly help resolve that need or want? And yeah, Curtis has a really good one. Do you want Y, or is it more valuable than X? That's definitely something we go through quite a bit. I think we force them to stack rank now.
Yes.
Right? Like if this even over that. So that's been really clarifying for me, at least. Brittany, I hope that answers your question a bit.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we have the prize drawing next, I believe. So I think we'll head over to that. Thank you all for joining. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Curtis or Nicole. Really excited to have you all here and hope this was the best session compared to the others that you missed. We'll never know, but I'm sure it was awesome.
It's worth the opportunity cost.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
See you over there.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.